Hi everyone, my name's Nurul. I'm going to be doing a talk on the spray booth we have. So, for context, it's a 1 by 1 tent, 1 meter by 1 meter tent that can be found beyond the woodworking area, past that door, but before the fire exit. It's hard to miss. Right, so I'm going to go through some of the things to look, good practices and how to use it safely. Now, it's equipped with a few things inside. So it has got a light, um, a fan and with a filter, extractor fan and a filter, and a dehumidifier in there. All of that's connected to the power outside. So hit the power outside, the light will come on. The dehumidifier and the extractor fan, both need to be switched on and off individually as well. Cool. So before you start, it's good practice to switch on the extractor fan, have that ready and going. Run the dehumidifier if the piece that you're painting is particularly susceptible to humidity. Sometimes you can get moisture trapped between the paint and what you're painting. Can cause a lot of trouble. You usually have to sand that down and redo it again. So just keep an eye out for that. That's why the dehumidifier is there. Check your PPE. So it's really important to have PPE, and I'll go through what I suggest you have in a minute. Make sure the booth is clean. Pretty self-explanatory, and yeah, and just check that the fan is working and the light's working. Pretty self-explanatory. So PPE. So key one is the respirator. Make sure you're wearing a respirator and a good quality one. One of those COVID masks is not going to do. We want something that has organic vapor cartridges on it. Something that's either half face or full face. Full face includes the goggles. Half face doesn't include the goggles. They're relatively cheap and inexpensive. I've got spares. If anyone needs, just let me know. I can lend you one. Eye protection is always good. Again, if you've got a full face mask, don't need to worry too much about that. But we've got plenty of goggles around here. You can get sort of form-fitting ones, which are ideal. But some eye protection is always good. Gloves are really useful. Just disposable gloves. You'll get paint everywhere. It's a messy business, so definitely worth having some gloves. Coveralls if you have them. Personally, I don't use them all the time, but it's worth thinking about coveralls, especially if you're doing extended paint sessions in there. Good footwear, and yeah, make sure you inspect the place before use. Now, what I will say about the booth, it's quite small. What I would suggest is you unzip it when you're to open the booth. When you're spraying, go inside the booth or step inside the booth to do your spraying, but don't zip yourself into it. So don't close it behind you, just leave it there just in case there's any issue. You can just step out quite easily. And just close it after you're done. Right. Then let's just go into some spray painting practices. This is a spray paint can. You can hear the little ball inside. This has got a huge amount of paint left in it. These are really flammable. Like the paint that comes out here, very, very flammable. So always keep that in mind. Don't do it anywhere near any ignition sources, any faulty electricals, anything you've got a worry about. Better just not to do it. Get someone to check it over before you do anything. One of the directors just let us know. Prepare the area you're going to paint. Usually you will need to sand whatever you're doing down to let the paint adhere. Sometimes you'll need a base coat of a primer first before you do a color paint. There's lots of different types of paint. Each will be different and how you apply it. So do read those instructions. Keep a steady distance. So it's usually 15 to 30 centimeters, about that much away from the what you're painting, and don't spray in an arc. It's always a good idea to start your spraying. So start off your piece. So hold it down for the first half second off the piece, and then move it in a straight line parallel to what you're painting, back and forth like that. But just when you initially press the nozzle, usually you get a burst of air, which then shows up on what you're painting. So it's always worth starting off the piece and carrying like that. And smooth overlapping passes and thin coats. So I would always suggest doing very light coats and building on top of those. Again, it would vary from paint to paint. Some you can put on thicker, some you can't. Nitrocellulose, you definitely have to do very, very thin, or else you will get drips quite easily. The airflow in there is quite good, especially with the extractor fan on, and there isn't a gap for air to come in, so there is good airflow in there, but just make sure the extractor is working. Right. So yeah, it's just a few do's and don'ts, or like before and afters. So keep the extractor on, keep the dehumidifier running if moisture is a problem. Spray in controlled passes, don't overfill the space. And one thing I'd be wary of is, because space is quite limited, try and think ahead of how you're going to move the thing you're painting afterwards, because you don't want to be then putting your hands on it to move it, which would defeat the whole purpose. So make sure whatever you're painting is on a stand or on an arm or something, or hung up. There is 2 cross beams that you can hang something relatively light on to spray from, like a hanger or something. Completely depends on what you're painting. After use, let the extractor run for a few minutes to clear the remaining fumes. Switch the extractor off afterwards. Switch the humidifier off. Clean your spray equipment and dispose of all your or clean your PPE, depending on what it is. Yeah, that's a few other things. Same again. Oops. Yeah. So, any questions? Let me know. But other than that, it's pretty.
Sorry.
Yep.
The dehumidifier.
Yeah.
Does the temperature of what you're spraying make a difference to how much you need to use that? I'm thinking that depending on its temperature, you might find water could condense on something that's cold.
To be honest, I haven't come across that. It probably will. So I guess keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, usually the things I've been painting are like room temperature, usually wooden objects or plastic. But yeah, something to keep in mind. I haven't come across that, but good shout. One thing I would say as well, with spray paint cans as well, they're best used while a little bit warm. So if you can warm them up ahead of time, not in boiling water, but like if you boil a kettle and then cool it down with some cold water, pop it in there about 15-20 minutes before you're going to paint. A warm paint comes out a lot finer, and so you get less splodges on your workpiece. So yeah, just a tip there. Any other questions?
That before and after slide you read previously, is it worth laminating that and sticking it on or near the spray booth?
Can do. Yeah.
When you've finished spraying, is it worth turning the can upside down and just spraying some air through?
Good shout. Yeah. So clean the nozzle out, put it upside down, give it a spray, and it will just spray. Spray out. No, good shout. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.